Hello everyone, Darius Skybound here, bringing you a new tutorial video. Today we're going over gathering. Now gathering is something that people have been asking for a while, so I'm very happy to get this video out. Now gathering is a lot more simple than crafting, but it also intimidates people a lot more than crafting does. And the reason for that is collectibles. Basic gathering is simple. Hit rock, get item. That's it. But collectibles add a new level of flair to it that's very confusing and stuff. But once you understand it, it is so incredibly simple. And that's what we're going over today. Now, before I get into how easy it is to gather collectibles and explain that, I'd like to redirect your attention for just a moment. A friend of mine, who we refer to as the world's worst arcanist, has an amazing shop. If you'd like to know more about why she's called the world's worst arcanist, look at my video, The Story of Carbuncle, to learn more about her and that evil blue rat. In any case, if you enjoy plushies, going to conventions, or just like soft things, take a look at her shop, Sweet Kitty Creations. She makes all sorts of wonderful creations, from outfits to backpacks to delectably adorable plushies. Is there a minion or a monster from Final Fantasy XIV that you would like to see made into a plush? She also takes custom orders. So just take a moment to visit Sweet Kitty Creations. The link will be down below in the description. And now back to our regularly scheduled gathering guide. Alright, so let's start with the basics. We'll start with the gathering HUD for collectibles. Now there's 4 main points here, but there's one missing that you won't see, and that is the gathering chances. Normally when you're gathering you have 4 chances, unless there's a modifier that gives you like 1 or 2 more chances. So next is rarity. Rarity is pretty simple. That's the collectability. You want to get it high enough that you can get a collectible item that is worth turning in. Now another thing to know is that sometimes it varies. So when you're collecting an item and you're just below rarity, collect it anyways. There might be a chance it'll be just enough for you. Then we have the wear. Every move you use to make the collectible more collectible will reduce the wear. You have about 10 points of wear reduction every time you use a move, so when it gets to 0, it's still fine. It's not gone or removed. Now you can actually try to use those moves past that point. Then you have less than 0, and when it gets to that point, it actually reduces the chance of actually being able to collect it. So if you do that, use it when you have just no chance of the rarity being proper, you have a few more gathering chances, and you want to try to push that with that low bit of luck. And finally, there's the gathering and high quality chances. Now, gathering chances is obviously how likely you are to collect the item when you're trying to collect it, but the high quality chance is something that most people don't consider with the collectibles. If you make a high quality when you're doing collectible, it's basically just going to boost the rarity of it by a few more points. So if the points isn't quite high enough and there's a chance for high quality, take a shot anyways. If you get high quality, it will boost you up a little bit, and that might be all you need to get the collectible at the rarity you need. Alright, so now that we've covered the collectible HUD with gathering, let's talk about the actual process of collecting. So just like crafting, you start with your collecting skill, which will be activating Collector's Glove. This will make any item that is collectible show up, but you should know exactly what you're looking for to turn in, or you might just be collecting an item that's not available to turn in yet. Now, when collecting, it is important to understand there's only 3 things you can really do. You can hit it to get your rarity up, which will cost you a gathering attempt and some wear, usually. You can do a buff, which will cost you nothing, or you can collect, which uses a gathering attempt and tries to get you an item of that rarity. Now, the buffs are what we're going to cover first because they're very simple. You can increase your potency of your next hit by 50%. You can make it take 1 less gathering attempt, so you basically get a free hit. Or you can make it take 10 less wear, which is kind of like a free hit, but only in the wear instead of the gathering part. Now, these buffs can be stacked, so you can make it so it doesn't take any wear or a gathering attempt, so it is literally a free hit. But these buffs are very powerful and use a lot of GP, so think about what you're trying to go for and how much you need it and how high the collectability should be to assist you here so you understand exactly what you're going for. Now, next is the appraisals. This is basically hit the ore, raise the rarity, better collectability, right? Simple, but it's kind of confusing. These moves say they increase it by perception times a certain amount, but it's really not that numerically simple. It's not based on that, it's based on the difficulty of the item and how high your perception is. It is not a setup number like it's trying to describe itself as, so don't let that fool you. It's kind of more a percentage based on the hit. If you look at Methodical Appraisal, that has a 1.0 hit, so think of that as the straight normal. Then you have Instinctual Appraisal, which gives you a 0.8 to 1.5 impact on the perception. So basically what that means is you might be hitting 80% as hard as normal or 1.5 times as hard as normal. And so that's a 20% to 50% gap there. So you actually get a lot more chance of hitting harder with Instinctual Appraisal. Then you have Impulsive Appraisal, which hits about 90% as hard, but has a 30% chance of causing you to have 50% impact more in the next hit. So it's kind of really useful if you know you might get a good shot at it, and then you can do something like Instinctual Appraisal and get that 50% chance thrown on top of maybe hitting higher, like at 1.5. You can get a lot more rarity in case you're having difficulty. Now, Impulsive Appraisal is also important to know that when you get higher level, you will get Impulsive Appraisal 2, which is better and basically overrides Impulsive Appraisal because now you have a chance of getting up to 100%. So anytime the thing's not in game and some sort of really high level node, you have a chance of going up towards 100% based on your gear, which should be pretty good at this point. And so finally we have Stickler. This is a new move that basically lets you hit half as hard, but it doesn't take any wear. It's basically for when you've already used up all your wear and you still have gathering attempts and you just want to get a little bit more rarity out of the collectible. Now at this point I want to stress again that if your wear gets to 0 and you still have gathering attempts and your rarity is not even close enough to get the collectible of what you need to turn in, still hit it. It will reduce the gathering attempt chance to basically about 10% or so, but you still have a chance to get it. So you can still hit it another time, but it just reduces your chance of actually successfully collecting. But if an item is going to be useless anyways because it's not collectible enough, what's there to lose? So now that we've covered everything with the collectibles with gathering, let's just go over a quick review. Every node has 4 gathering attempts, which is used up by appraisals or collections. Appraisals are basically impact moves that cause it to raise in rarity based on your perception and based on which skill you use. Think of each appraisal as a percentage of just how hard you hit it normally, with a methodical appraisal as your norm. Buffs can be used at any time and do not take any wear or gathering attempts from your collection. They do, however, use a lot of GP but are very potent too, so use them whenever you want to. Each unbuffed appraisal attempt will reduce wear of the item. When the wear gets down to 0, if you hit it again, it will reduce the ability to collect it to only 10% chance. Many collectibles still have a chance for high quality. When you successfully get a high quality with collecting, you actually raise the rarity instead of getting a high quality collectible. And always try to remember the rarity you need to turn in a collectible. This way you know when you need to take riskier moves to try and get the collectible high enough to turn in. A collectible with a rarity that's not high enough is worthless, so always take the chance if needed. So in the end, gathering collectibles is still rather simple. Just use appraisal to increase the rarity collectible rate. Make sure you watch your wear, watch your number of gathering attempts, make sure you use your buffs, and take advantage of any extra nodes that have extra gathering attempts. So even though collectibles are rather simple with gathering, when you finally understand and stuff, it's still hard to get into. And there are a possibility that changes will come. They have promised more changes in 5.2, so we don't know how that's really going to affect collectibles. But I really don't think gathering is going to get hit that hard as it did with crafting, so there'll probably still be some relevance to this. But if 5.2 does do some heavy changes to gathering and the gathering collectibles, I'll be sure to make a video on that. But as far as gathering and gathering collectibles before 5.2, at the current time 5.18, I think I pretty much covered everything. So anyways, as always, this is Dare Skybound, signing out.